royal welcome for US President Donald Trump as he touched down in Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. The Gulf state putting on a lavish reception to greet America's self-styled dealmaker-in-chief. This is Trump's first major overseas trip of his second term. And, the guest list made clear, business deals are top of the agenda. Tech CEOs and leaders of large US firms joining Trump's top political team in Riyadh.
We have the biggest business leaders in the world here, and they're going to walk away with a lot of checks for a lot of things that you're going to provide.
This is Trump's chance to prove himself a major deal maker on the global stage. He suggested 2 million US jobs could be created as part of his visit. But while the fanfare was obvious, the finer details of what was signed not immediately clear. Multiple economic, trade and defense agreements, including the White House says a $600 billion commitment from Riyadh to invest in the United States. Officials here, who have huge economic ambitions themselves, insist this is no blank check, saying the deals will bear fruit for both sides.
And I use trade
In his keynote speech on Tuesday, Trump highlighted what he described as the, quote, modern Middle East.
Before our eyes, a new generation of leaders is transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past and forging a future where the Middle East is defined by commerce, not chaos, where it exports technology, not terrorism, and where people of different nations, religions, and creeds are building cities together, not bombing each other.
It was a welcome message to Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the Gulf state's de facto ruler and a key Trump ally since the president's first term in office. The visit here is the first on a 4-day tour of energy-rich Gulf Arab nations.
Getting bigger and bigger.
Next up, Qatar and the UAE, also keen to cast themselves as indispensable business partners and key intermediaries in conflicts from Gaza to Ukraine.
This morning, the defense will cross-examine Daniel Phillips, a man who says he was paid to have sex with Sean Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura on multiple occasions over multiple years. In his testimony Monday, Phillips said he heard Combs beat Ventura on at least one occasion. Before she's even taken the stand, singer Cassie Ventura was front and center in the prosecution's case against her former boyfriend, Sean Diddy Combs. Ventura and another woman, only identified as Jane, are at the center of the prosecution's argument. In opening statements, prosecutors described Combs allegedly forcing Ventura to perform in so-called drug-fueled freak-offs, saying half the week Cassie was in a dark hotel room, high and awake for days, performing sex acts she did not want to do on male escorts, with Combs recording those interactions for blackmail. Prosecutors allege Combs called himself the king and expected to be treated like one. Combs has pleaded not guilty to 5 counts, including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Shown in court Monday, a 2016 surveillance video showing Combs attacking Ventura inside a hotel. Prosecutors pointing to that video claiming if Cassie didn't do what the defendant wanted, the consequences were severe. Combs' defense countering, calling the video overwhelming evidence of domestic violence. He's charged with running a criminal enterprise. Domestic violence is not sex trafficking. Further contradicting claims of coercion by claiming Ventura stayed with Combs for 11 years and left on her own terms. Ventura's attorney says she'll be ready to testify.
She's brave and she's courageous.
Ventura is expected to take the stand today. Yesterday, we saw her husband leaving the court. Now, in addition to testimony from Ventura and Jane, the prosecution mentioned a third woman, Mia, who worked as a personal assistant for Combs and, quote, is just beginning to grapple with the times the defendant forced himself onto her sexually.
Edan Alexander's mother speaking to her son after Hamas released him. On Monday, 21-year-old Edan Alexander was handed over to the Red Cross. He later arrived at an Israeli military base for a medical assessment, and after that, a chance to see his mother in person. A shriek of jubilation from a mother who didn't know if she'd ever see her son Edan again. The jubilation spreading to the Alexander family, who hosted a watch party for Edan, who was the last known living American hostage in Gaza. His family crediting the Trump administration for its efforts to secure his release.
This was achieved thanks to our military pressure and the diplomatic pressure applied by President Trump.
Alexander was held captive for more than 19 months after Hamas attacked Israel on October 7, 2023, abducted near the Gaza border while serving with Israel's military. His return came after several days of talks with Hamas and the U.S. amid negotiations on a ceasefire and resuming humanitarian aid into Gaza. Crowds into Tel Aviv's so-called Hostage Square cheered the release of Alexander Monday, but supporters urging both Israel and America to not forget about all the hostages who remain.
Por fin, la novela de Carlo Ancelotti tuvo un final feliz. Aunque no haya terminado sus compromisos con el Real Madrid, el italiano ya empezó su nuevo trabajo. Él conversó con Casemiro, a quien dirigió en el club merengue, y le dijo a Neymar que cuenta con él. El anuncio quedó a cargo del presidente de la CBF, Ednaldo Rodríguez, quien está siendo investigado por corrupción y aún puede ser apartado del cargo.
Seleção brasileira mais vencedora da história do futebol mundial.
Ednaldo Rodríguez dijo que la selección más ganadora será dirigida por el técnico más grande del fútbol mundial hasta el final de la Copa del Mundo en el próximo año y que este es el primer paso para la conquista del 6º título.
Rumo ao hexacampeonato.
Carlo Ancelotti es esperado en Río de Janeiro el día 26 para su presentación oficial, en la que dará a conocer la primera convocatoria para los partidos ante Ecuador y Paraguay por las eliminatorias. Por supuesto, tras el anuncio, la noticia estuvo en todos los medios del país.
Aleluia, temos técnico finalmente na seleção brasileira e não é qualquer técnico, Carlo Ancelotti.
Carlo Ancelotti anunciado oficialmente como treinador da seleção brasileira.
É um momento histórico.
El cuarto seleccionador extranjero de la historia del fútbol masculino brasileño ganará 10 millones de euros al año, un monto similar al que recibía en el Real Madrid. Sin embargo, tendrá derecho a una bonificación de 5 millones más si la verde amarela gana su 6º título mundial. Cicinho jugó por el Madrid, pero solo convivió con el italiano como adversario. El ex lateral sostuvo que no es necesario decir qué tan grande es Ancelotti, pero él tiene dudas si no sería mejor un técnico que conoce más a los que militan por equipos nacionales.
Treinador que já conhece o nosso futebol.
Según el ex mediocampista Neto, Brasil no tenía un comandante de verdad y este fichaje es algo gigantesco. La selección ahora tiene a un entrenador que sabe que es mucho más grande que todos los convocados, incluso que Neymar.
Até o Neymar.
Sin duda, el país que enseñó al mundo cómo se juega bonito, ahora tiene mucho por aprender con los extranjeros. Reportó desde Brasil Dan Sister para Telearuba,